I know what you're thinking. Oh my goodness, not another video about the rise of AI. It's taking over all the jobs. Oh my goodness, doom and gloom, blah, 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 blah. Well, I want to tell you that today, nothing could be further from the truth. I actually feel like my story is pretty inspiring, but it did start with AI taking my job, and that's really important to acknowledge. There's also a part of me completely rebranding what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and how I'm doing it. And I feel like it's worth sharing that story for posterity. If you've ever watched my channel or some of my previous episodes, you know that I'm huge on authenticity, and I'm learning how to be more authentic every day. So let's dive into the story, and you can learn some more about where we're going and where we've come from. My story actually starts a couple of years ago when I wrote my first blog article and turned it into a YouTube channel, which ended up being pretty successful. In fact, I did all of the sums over the last few years, and I've actually made around $500,000 from that YouTube channel, which is pretty incredible, and I feel very blessed by that. But anyway, what was happening is I quit my job at a really well-known company, and it was really well paid, and I decided to go into business. My brother-in-law came along to me and he said, "Hey, I really want to build this trading bot because I want to trade the foreign exchange markets, and I really want to automate it, but I don't really know how to code." For those of you who know me and have watched this channel, you'll know that I've created a whole ton of coding videos now, but I didn't really know how to do it either at the time. I just knew how to write code. So I decided to set about writing this trading bot for him. I took his strategy and I worked really hard and I turned it into this amazing and really cool trading bot strategy. The problem was I found there was no great resources on the internet showing you how to do it. It was incredibly frustrating. I spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours researching how to do things, figuring out how to do it, trying and failing. In fact, it took me nearly 3.5 weeks to build my trading bot. Out of sheer frustration, I decided to turn that trading bot experience into a series of blog articles, and that became my original blog series. I even wrote it on a platform called Medium, which was pretty amazing. Anyway, it was really good, and I started getting all of this feedback on it. People subscribing to read my blogs, and I kept writing articles. But what would happen is every now and again, people would jump on there and say, "Hey, I love what you're writing. It's really helpful. It's really useful. I love the code samples. But could you please turn it into a YouTube video?" Eventually, I got so frustrated that I just went and created some YouTube videos. I mean, the editing was horrible. It was pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. Looking back now, I don't really know why people watched it, but they did, and they kept subscribing, and they kept reaching out to me, and things were going well. But then what happened was people were like, "Hey, love what you're doing. This is really cool, but could you please build this trading bot for me? I've got an idea, I've got a plan, got a strategy. Can you please build it for me?" So then I was like, oh my goodness, I got to figure out a coding strategy for this, like a pricing strategy and a coding strategy to do it. And then I started getting more complex things that had absolutely nothing to do with trading bots, but I could point them back to my trading bot videos and say, "Hey, I know how to code and I know how to talk confidently about what things are going on." And I started getting business from it. And I built this amazing business. And I started to employ people, and it was really good. And I loved it. And it was super interesting and super fascinating. And I felt like we're on a good trajectory. And I'd heard about AI, and I started getting involved in it through one of the companies that I was working with. And we started to use it. And then what I started to notice was the people who were reaching out to me and messaging me would be like, "Hey man, I just tried this really cool thing on ChatGPT. Could you just fix it up for me?" All of a sudden, my business model pretty much evaporated overnight. And at the same time, my largest client needed to move forward with a different plan that they were doing. And so out of nowhere, AI had obliterated my business. It was gone. I spent a little bit of time feeling sorry for myself, as you do, and I had to go through all of the motions of, redundancy, that kind of stuff. And, it was painful and frustrating. But in there, I started to realize that there's an amazing opportunity for AI. the more I reflected on the things I've been learning with AI and experimenting with over the last couple of years, the more I realized that there's a whole brand new world waiting to be established. Now, for many of you watching, you might not remember the dot-com boom. You may not even have been alive during that time, and hats off to you. But I remember it pretty clearly. I mean, I was just in high school and just starting to graduate and get it into business myself. And I remember the dot-com boom pretty well. I remember when Amazon first got talked about, and I remember how crazy it was that you could order a book online and get it delivered to your house. And I remember Netflix coming out and being like, wow, I can like order a movie to my home. And then like when I've watched it, return it and get another one. And then I remember as the years went by and like these companies that were a joke in the stock market started to rise. And then people would be like, oh no, they've reached their peak. And then they would rise again. And then Amazon started getting into the Amazon that we have today with all sorts of different products you can buy. Netflix started to stream movies. And I remember the sense that, holy moly, how did I miss this amazing revolution that was upon us? And for me, that's the opportunity that we have with AI. Right now, at the very start of this brand new industry, there's a remarkable opportunity for those of us who want to seize the day. And so I've decided to pivot my entire business around AI, building AI products, helping prepare businesses for the age of AI. And hopefully, in doing so, I'll be a part of changing the world.